In this video, it is the battle of the budget. Steve and I are actually going to have a real live, we're recording it, but it's a real live conversation of how we think about budget, think about our visioning, think about what our next year is going to look like. I mean, this is not scripted. This is like him saying what he thinks and me saying what I think. Is it a battle? Is it an agreement? I don't know. But a lot of people have asked us how we do our budget. And there's two ways to go about sharing that with you. One is we can actually do a how-to, like these are the tools and this is how you use the spreadsheet and this is how we do cells within the spreadsheet and this is how we vision about that, which Steve is really, really good at and he is ready to do that video for you. And another way to do the video is like give you guys an insight into how we talk about budget and kind of the disagreements or the agreements that we have and the assumptions that we have as we talk about our budget. So that's what we're going to attempt to do today. It may be a complete failure. It may be completely edited out. We don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to be along for the ride. I'm Chris and this is Steve.
Hi, we're really glad you're here. We are Chris and Steve, a retired senior couple who sold our house, our car, and everything in them in Denver, Colorado in 2021, and we've been traveling the world full-time ever since with just our 2 carry-on suitcases. You may know us as EatWalkLearn. We have a weekly newsletter that we publish on Substack, so please be sure to subscribe over there or come to our Facebook group where we post what we're doing almost every single day. On our website, you'll find over 200 locations to inspire you, and you can also read about our entire Nomad life journey in our book series on Amazon.
So we're starting our 6th year of travel. We've had 5 years of numbers. Last week we did our budget we showed you all of our budget numbers and how we spent our budget and where we came in online or on the budget. So, and originally we started with we were going to put $2,000 each in. So that was a $4,000 a week or month budget. So our first year was $48,000. Our second year was $48,000.
Yeah. Then we did, I think, $52,000 the third year. And the last 2 years have been $58,000.
Yeah,
so that's been our spending for the whole year for everything. And we showed you in last week's video that we came in a little bit above that for the year. And why are we talking about this now? It's because we started traveling in June of 2021. So at the end of May of 2026, we round up everything that we spent in the last year compared to our budget. And that's what we shared with you, that we came in 4% over budget.
But I think what's important is after 5 years of traveling, we have come in on budget every year. I mean, if you looked at it for 5 years, we're probably collectively or under by 1 or 2%. Because I think every year we've come in at like 1% under or something. The first year we were over. Anyway, we've been on budget. The bottom line is we've come in on budget, relatively speaking. So I think we're really good at understanding how we spend money and how like we have the same kind of personality about spending money.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to do a budget anymore, but Steve's like, I want to do a budget.
Well, I think that's important in that we're on the same page. So as traveling couples, as a traveling couple, we don't, one person wants to be in luxury resorts and the other person wants to sleep in a tent and is worried about money. Like who's worried about money and who's worried about how much money you spend? Or do you have just kind of like an internal barometer of, I know what our lifestyle, what we want to be for our lifestyle. And that kind of dictates, okay, how much are you going to spend for that type of a lifestyle? And I think that's where we are. I think we're on the same page. We really don't need to track it.
Even before we start traveling, we never had a budget before we started traveling, and you've always had your money, I've always had my money. But even still, we kind of, even within our own little worlds, my spending kind of always matched Steve's spending. Our spending was always kind of the same.
Alluded to a moment ago is that when we first decided to start traveling full time, she came to me and she said, well, why don't we just each kick in $2,000 a month and we'll put that into a joint checking account and that'll be our fund for all of our travel. And let's give it a try. It's just like, let's try it. And I was like, I was a little bit suspicious. I was like, can we really do this on basically $4,000 a month for the two of us? But you had some experience because you did a little trip.
Yeah, I had done 5 months as a solo traveler with a group of people prior to that down to South America and saw kind of how far $2,000 went and how to manage that money. And I just came back into our relationship and I said, I think $2,000 a piece would be more than enough. So anyway, so that's the past. So the reason why our budget has increased first inflation has caught us, but I think it's more we are wanting to. First of all, we can afford to do it, and our budget really does not reflect what we can afford to do. It's just what our comfort level is and how much we spend. So I think the reason why I have wanted to increase the budget every year is for two reasons. I've wanted more comfort, meaning better sleeping, generally better sleeping arrangements or better transit. I don't want to do red eyes, and I don't want to do, chicken buses if I don't have to, right? And then the other was experiences. We are on this adventure to have experiences. It's because it's the experiences that we remember, not that the cathedral was the oldest in Europe or the tallest or whatever. I mean, I want to have experiences. And so as we're getting comfortable with what we like to do as travelers and what we want to spend our money on, I'm wanting to spend more money on experiences.
Yeah. I mean, a great example of that is we were in Buenos Aires, Argentina, a year ago or so, and we wanted to go to Iguazu Falls. Iguazu Falls is an incredible bucket list place to go to, just an amazing experience, like Chris said. And we kind of battled over this. It's like, well, not only can we afford it, but is it practical? I mean, it's got, it's a plane flight. We're going for 3 or 4 days. Then we got to come back. It's not like it's on our way someplace.
Yeah, it was definitely
a side trip.
Yeah. And
something that you had to fly to, and something that was kind of, a little pricey, if you will. So, but anyway, I'm glad we made that decision, and we continue making decisions like that, like right after that. Hiking in Patagonia, and what's the desert? Atacama Desert.
Oh, that was really
Chile.
Worth the money.
So we continue to say, well, we want to travel to these places, and we don't want to miss the amazing experiences.
But I think some of the problems that we have with our budget is we get lucky a lot of times on the budget, because we just kind of, at this time of year, we kind of put a number down and we get lucky. Sometimes, when we were doing our budgeting last May, I did not have in my mind that I wanted to go to Atacama or Iguazu, and those are probably combined $3,000 or something between the two trips, and that wasn't budgeted per se. That we had a list. We're going to go to Atacama and we're going to go to Iguazu. We're just, when we were in South America, we started hearing about these other things to do, and then we just said, let's do them. Hopefully the budget will work. So. That's what happens a lot, is we get to some places not having any idea that we're going to do an experience, and then an experience comes along.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are we A, budget travelers, or are we B, travelers who travel on a budget?
With a budget.
Are we budget travelers or traveling on a budget?
Well, I think we're kind of a mix of both, right? So we do look for the best deals, and we do try to pinch pennies whenever possible. Like, we walk a lot, and we don't take Ubers. And anyway, we've got lots of videos of how we save money elsewhere, when we house it and so on. So that's we're travelers on a budget. Yet we also have a budgeting tool that manages our expectations on what we spend. Yeah. So we travel with a budget. I mean, you could have a $200,000 budget and be budget travelers, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of the point that I'm making, is well, just because you have a budget doesn't mean you're a budget traveler, right? If your budget says that you fly first class every time you fly, you still have a budget, but your budget is accommodating for
and then you might
luxury travel.
Yeah, you might be a business class traveler yet stay in hostels, right? So, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to look at what budget travel is. So, anyway, the point is, our budget is this year we decided on $66,000 for the year, so $33K a piece, right?
Yeah,
is that what we decided?
So we're increasing from 58,000 to 66 is what, another 12%?
Yeah.
Higher, we spend that much more.
Chris is getting some spa days.
But wait a second. So why did we went for 58 and we're gonna budget 66? Well, where did 66 come from? Why is
because
why is not 58 back to 56?
Because 33 is my favorite number, and so 33,000 times 2 is 66. We tend to be about 6 months out from our current date about what has been planned and paid, and often paid for, depending on if we have to pay for something. If it's like flights are probably paid for, cruises are probably paid for, and then any non-refundables are probably paid for. So here we are talking about a budget being set now, although we've already spent about half of it because we have about 6 months of the year already scheduled for next year.
Well, maybe we haven't spent half of it, but certainly the way that we do our accounting is it's in cash accounting. So we might have for example, our Airbnb in August it was paid for last month.
Yeah. And the cruise next week
so
or next month was paid for in March.
Yeah, exactly. We counted it. So we're always kind of working forwards. But I think from a budgeting standpoint, this is a real advantage is because 6 months out, we know how much it's going to cost. It's not a lot of guessing.
Yeah.
So what's the budget for the next 6 months? Well, we know we can come in really, really close to that. Unless something crazy happens.
Well, like last year, we decided to get a golden visa, which ended up blowing our budget for a lot of different reasons.
Things are going to happen, and you know that there are some things that are going to happen, which is why you can always like build in a little buffer. It's like, so if I know I'm going to spend $10,000 on something, well, let's make the budget 11,000 or 12,000, just because something might happen and it might change. So that's a kind of just like an idea, a budgeting concept, if you will, to not like create an anxiety. But have we ever had anxiety over our budget? Like, let's say it's June 15th.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we come into May.
And we know what our budget is for the month.
So Steve will run the numbers in April, and it will say, we have $4,000 left in May, which is the last month of our year. And I'm looking at, we got to pay for this, and we got to pay for this. So I get anxious in that it's a game that we're playing, and I really want to come in to be able. I feel like I want to get an A on my report card, and getting an A would be coming in on budget.
Yeah.
And so if I can manipulate numbers in May or hold off on paying something until June, I might, because in this game of the budget, I want to hit the number.
Yeah, but kind of, we've done that a little bit on an annual perspective. Like we'll look and say, well, how close are we? Like in April to or March, but we're not going to ever be like in the middle of the month say, oh my gosh, we're spending too much, we need to cut back this month. Right? Like because our budget is, let's say it's whatever, $4,000 a month for spending. We're not like so crazy about each month. We know it's going to go, our spending is going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. It's never going to be 4,000 a month.
Yeah, you should show that chart show that chart of how the numbers go up and down every month. So some months will be 9,000, the next month will be 2,000. Even though we haven't moved, we're in the same location, for example.
And then it's just kind of conceptually, I mean, in the long run, it balances out. You're going to have high months, you're going to have low months.
So it's an annual budget, not a monthly budget or a weekly budget.
Or some people will say, here's my per day. I'm going to spend X amount of dollars per day. And oh my gosh, I had a latte, so I went over my daily budget.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're not going to.
Okay. So what I want to talk about is, so we have our 7 or 8 categories, right? So we've got accommodation, transit, eating out, entertainment, bills and utilities, wellness and health and wellness, and shopping. And do we have a miscellaneous, or is shopping or miscellaneous? So I think let's go through each item and think about what we have talked about, what we want to do next year, and how that fits into the budget. Okay. So let's start with accommodations.
Well, do we want to talk about, like, conceptually, like, why do we have those categories? And I think it's because one of the most important, because we're lazy. One of the most important things about, if you're going to have a budget, you want to know how much you're spending. So you've got to be able to track your actual expenses. To say you have a budget, but you're not tracking your spending that doesn't make sense. I mean, how do you know if you're
on budget if you don't know what you're spending?
So anyways, or even if you have an internal kind of clock of where you think you want to spend, you don't call it a budget, but you want to spend about $50,000 this year. Well, if you're not tracking your spending, you're never going to know that. And I think that's the game, and that's the thing that I feel really good about is the tracking part of it. And the way we do that is super easy. We generally are using our credit cards for everything. And you go to, for example, Chase. You go to Chase and you say download transactions, and it creates a Google, a sheet. You upload it into Google Sheets, And you can see every transaction that you've made, and it automatically categorizes it. So that's the nice thing.
And that's what I mean by
Sometimes
we're lazy. We haven't created categories.
we
Chase
don't
created them
create.
for him, and we're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
as good as any. Accommodations. So our travel this year is we're going to finish up in the U.S. We're going to go to Europe through the fall, and then we're headed to the Americas in January, February, March. We've got a trip to Syracuse for sure that we know about for graduation for one of our kids.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to go back to Mexico through April. We don't know, right now we don't know what we're doing in May.
So in my mind, so we've got another one of the factors that we're working on right now is our golden visa for Greece.
Yeah.
And I've
So we need
kind
to spend
of
some
have
Greek
it
time.
in my mind that, that certainly by, the winter time or springtime next year, that'll be all in place. And we're going to want to go back to Greece. So that's kind of where my thought was, is that April of next year.
So we're in Greece next summer, and then in the fall we'll head to one of those continents.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that's a year and a half from now, which doesn't have anything to do with the
Exactly.
budget now, but it does affect like what we're thinking about. So backing up to this year, we already have things booked through March. So, and one of the things that we decided to do earlier this year about next year is we don't even know why we're doing this, but we have decided to chase
I don't know why we're doing this.
Hyatt globalist status, because we have a bucket of points. A lot of things trigger this. We have a lot of points, and the point values are changing. Chase is changing their point values, and we had a lot of Hyatt points, and Hyatt was changing its categories and all this stuff. And we thought, if we're going to, the globalist status at Hyatt is the highest ranking status, and once you get that status, you get all kinds of free things and upgrades and lounges and all these things. And we haven't really been big brand hotel stayers,
Right.
but we're now in our 6th year, and I'm kind of like, let's try some different things. So we decided that we were going to go chase globalist status, which means we have to stay 60 days in a Hyatt property. The sooner you get your 60 days in a year, the better off it is for you. So when you get globalist status, you get it in that year and the following year. So if you get your globalist status done by March 1st, you get globalist status for 20 something months, 22 months.
Yeah.
So we looked at that and we thought, all right, well, let's go look to see where some Hyatt properties are. Long story short, after lots of conversation, we ended up booking. So this is our itinerary. We're in Vancouver now. We're going to New England. Then we're taking a cruise over to England. Then we're going to stay in Sweden for the month of August. And then we're doing We're doing a German cruise on the Rhine. And then we're going to Oktoberfest. And then we're going to end up in Athens. We're going to go hiking in the Dolomites. And then we're going to end up in Athens or Greece for October, November, December.
Right.
And then in January, we booked 3 weeks on the southwest coast of Africa in Morocco. And then we booked 3 weeks.
It's not Southwest Africa, but okay.
I mean, Southwest Morocco. Thank you.
Southwest Morocco.
Yeah, sorry. And then we booked 3 weeks in
Honduras.
And then we booked 5 weeks in Costa Rica, right? I don't remember exactly the amount of work. Anyway, the 60 days are across those 3 locations.
Yeah.
And then we don't have Mexico booked yet and Syracuse booked yet. We'll get those booked, but I think we're going to go just north of Cabo.
Yeah, so the point that Chris is making is exactly the point with regard to accommodations, and why we talk about accommodations so much is that is the biggest chunk of your budget. That's where you're going to spend the most money. So if you're going to nail that down, you've nailed down a third of your spending.
Right. So August we've already paid for. No, have we paid for our Airbnb?
We've either paid for half of it, or we've paid for all of it.
We might have $500 left on the Airbnb for August.
Yeah.
September, that's going to be an expensive month. All of it's booked, but none of it's paid for.
But we've got a lot of points that we're going to use.
Oh, that's right. We booked some of it with points.
Yeah.
And then we're going to Salzburg. We booked with points. Munich, that's cash. We're splitting a room actually with some friends of ours. We got a house and we're paying them cash for Airbnb.
Yeah.
And then the Dolomites, we're spending cash at the Dolomites, and that has not been paid for. So that's a good grand there at least.
Yeah. But then 3 months in Greece, off season. We did this last winter. We're doing it again this winter. great price, waterfront, view, 2-bedroom apartment.
Right. So, and the
Can't
first,
wait to share that with you. That's going to be great.
and but that was $500 a month, and we've already paid for the first month. So then we have November and December we need to pay for.
Right.
January, February, March are paid for with points. That's no cash out of our pocket.
Right.
And then April in Mexico is going to be expensive because that's high season. And then
Yeah.
May, who the heck knows? That might even be friends and family. Because we got to go through.
Yeah,
So we don't really have a lot of accommodation budget this year.
Repositioning cruise, right?
Holy, oh,
I
yeah.
know. So
we got two.
So how are we gonna?
So we might have 2 cruises. So we'd have a cruise in October. No, we don't have. No, we're already cruising, which is paid for.
We have,
and then we have the cruise in April coming, wherever we might go in April. I mean, we may go down to Australia. Who the heck knows? But so we have one
That's
cruise
the
we're
wrong
going to
way.
need to pay for.
Right.
Because if we've watched our videos, our accommodation budget on a cruise, Steve splits out the cruise budget into 4 categories. One of them is accommodation, entertainment, food, travel, whatever. So a portion of the cruise budget is going to go to accommodation.
Right.
Our accommodation budget next year is going to be mini, teeny tiny.
Unless something happens and we have to change our
Okay.
plans.
All right. So
Credit card, please.
next up is transit or transit accommodation. So what have we've already paid for our flights from Southampton to Sweden. We paid for all of our Sweden, but those are paid in June. So
they're
okay.
going to be this
So
year.
we've got flights from Southampton to Sweden, Sweden to Germany, train all over Germany, flights to Athens, flights to Morocco. I think I paid for that already. Flight to Honduras, flight to Costa Rica. Then Costa Rica to the States, we pay, that's on points with Southwest, so we don't have to count that for the budget. And then all over the U.S., that's all points also in the budget. And then whatever our May thing is.
Yeah.
So we've got 8 flights, big flights.
8 flights.
I mean, they're probably around at least $200 a piece.
Well, some of them are going to be less expensive. Like if we're going, from Germany to Greece, that's not going to be.
Well, no,
that
that's already
much.
paid for. I can tell you. I'll look at
Okay.
those numbers up and tell you what they are. The
So
expensive flights that we have left are from Africa to Central America.
Right. So then this conversation that we're having is, you can go through and very easily say, well, if you know where you're going, or you can guess where you're going, then you can estimate how much those major flights are going to cost. And if you can't estimate it, just look it up. Just go for it. Just take 5 minutes and go to like a website like either like Google Flights or Skyscanner that we have recommended, and see, well, how much is a flight from Munich to Athens, right? Because you're going to be going from Munich to Athens, right? In the next 6 months. And there are going to be a couple of expensive flights. I think that we're going to have some really expensive ones. Like we want to go from Morocco to Honduras. Like who flies from Morocco to Honduras?
Yeah.
So that's going to be an expensive one. But do you fly business class, first class, or do you look for the cheapest flight to get from point A to point B? That's going to make a big difference. Or do you pay for it with points?
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter how much.
Well, we don't really use our points for flights generally. We use our points for hotels. So,
right.
But we do use points for flights on Southwest when we're in the States. Okay, so next.
Conceptually, sorry, back up a little bit. When you're looking at a budget, you're making an estimate. You're making a guess for what you know right now. Things are going to change, absolutely, and you're never going to be right on. If you have an educated guess, you can get pretty close, and that's what we're trying to do, is have an educated guess.
And then, do we want to throw in some contingency money, like in case we have to run back to the States real quick because a parent or a child needs something? Is that
that's just kind of like
that?
like the idea of again, a budgeting concept is. Put a little buffer in, because something's going to change, something's going to happen, and you don't want it to upset the whole economy.
Next up is food. So our food is eating at home and dining out. I think our food needs to be higher next year because we've got all these hotel stays. Well, I don't know. I mean, because all the hotel stays have free breakfast, the Hyatt's has free breakfast. And then if they have a lounge, we'll probably have dinner or something there. But I think the fact that we're going to be in hotels more and we've got a lot of fast travel through Germany, I think our eating out budget is going to be higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only place we're really still this year is the 3 weeks in Greece.
And this is a good one where being able to look at your actual spending, makes a big difference. Because if I think about how much I eat out, I think invariably you underestimate how much you're actually spending on food in restaurants and eating out and spending on groceries. I tend to underestimate how much we're really spending. But if you look at how much you're actually spending, and we've got 5 years of actual data to look at, and it has not changed that month.
Health and wellness. All right. I have an idea, babe.
This is another one. This one's easy.
Really?
Health and wellness is easy because the vast majority of our health and wellness spending and budget is our health insurance. And you know what your health insurance premium is?
I have a little surprise for you. I've been thinking.
Uh-oh.
So, every once in a while, we'll have brainstorms about things we want to do. And one of them has been go to a health and wellness spa or go spend a week at a meditation. You've been wanting to go to a writing retreat. We've been wanting to do language school.
Yeah.
I guess language school would be entertainment. But I've been thinking about the 3 locations on our Hyatt things. We should turn those into different retreats. So I was looking this up. So the Morocco one, I think that should be our health and wellness retreat because it's on the town that we're going to is a surfer town, and there's all these yoga studios and all these massage places, and there's all these hammams, if you know Muslim culture, I guess, and Arabic culture or Middle Eastern culture.
The public baths.
Yeah, the public baths. And so I think when we're in Morocco, that should be our health and wellness month. And that we should put a good part of our budget towards massages and hot baths and yoga studio stuff. Because I was looking at the prices of hammams, and we can go and get the full bath and the full massage thing for $50 for an hour. And so I think in the 3 weeks we're there, we should both go at least 4 times.
Yeah. Okay. So what's that, like $10,000?
And then we should do some yoga, or maybe even hire a private yoga instructor there. That might be kind of fun, But anyway, I think we should put in the Morocco budget $1,000 for health and wellness things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris wins.
See how easy this is?
Okay. And then in Honduras, that time we should make our writer's retreat time and really protect that time and do writer's retreat things like have writing prompts for each other, read each other's writing, share, or maybe even have some of our writer friends zoom in with us and have some Zooms with some other authors. I don't think that's really going to cost us any money per se. I mean, but we could maybe we can hire a cook and they can bring in some food for us at the hotel. And so we're not distracted by writing. I mean, we can write and then have someone cook for us.
Yeah, I think this is all great. And again, it's from a budgeting perspective, is if you have hobbies, if you have activities, things that you're going to want to do, just budget it in, price it in.
And then in Costa Rica, we've been wanting to do language, so I think we should sign up for a language school. So that's going to be some money because that's usually for 2 of us, probably $400 or $500 a week, depending on how many hours we do.
Okay. If you do an
combined.
immersive
or some group thing.
program.
And I think we're there for 5 weeks, so maybe if we did 3 weeks of that, and then we're definitely going to want to do tourism things in Costa Rica and do a lot of different hiking and go to the rainforest and zip lining and all that.
Yeah.
So I think our entertainment budget in Costa Rica needs to be higher.
Yeah, I'm thinking about side trips too because we're staying in San Jose.
Yeah.
San Jose. And we're going to want to get out of the city. We're going to want to get to the coast. We're going to want to get to the mountains. We're going to want to do some things that might even be overnight kinds of things.
So we'd be doubling up on our hotel nights and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
But we wanted that time to be worthwhile. I think it's really funny that, 7 years ago, we made this crazy list of here's all the places that we want to travel to. And number one on the list was Costa Rica.
We haven't even been,
We've
we've
been
been there
there
on
one day.
on port stops. We made it
On a
on port
port
stops,
day.
but not any time. Okay, so and then what's left? So then insurance. Back to
Yeah,
insurance.
back to
So
insurance.
actually, what's nice about knowing what our itinerary is, that helps me make decisions about what insurance programs I'm going to buy. Steve's on Medicare. His Medicare policy has the emergency contingency in it for international travel. Anything else he pays out of pocket for.
Well, because we're not in the United States.
Right.
So if I want to, if I need to get something done and I'm not in the US and I choose to, which I have chosen in the past, I'm going to find out, where's the best place to get my, I don't know, toenail.
But also with our Golden Visa, we will have Greek insurance, which allows us to use the Greek medical system. So Steve does need to get a procedure done. He will get that done in Greece when the insurance is set. So that's not really a cost that we need to determine because it's not going to be that significant.
Yeah, and like just as an aside, so we actually have an emergency fund. This is not something that's budgeted. So something happens, you can't budget for an emergency to happen, right?
A health emergency,
a health emergency, but you want to make sure that again there's money there to pay for it just in case. So this is kind of an aside. We're not budgeting for something that may or may not happen, but we are budgeting for things like our health insurance, which is really important.
Yeah. So Steve's on Medicare, and that costs you're on Medicare.
Yes, an
premium
Advantage plan, about $100 a month.
FG or something the other. Anyway, $100 a month for his Medicare. If you want him to do a video on his Medicare, he will do it. I am 59, so I still don't have the advantage of Medicare, and I'm no longer on Obamacare. So knowing that we're going to be in Europe from July to January, I'll go buy a 6-month Schengen policy at Mondial. An annual policy there is €400. So, and the more you buy, the cheaper it is. 6 months might be $275 or something. I don't know if it's 400. If 400 for the year is cheaper, then I'll just buy the 400. Anyway, so that will cover me while we're in Europe. I may, if we have the Greek insurance, I may only need to buy it until October, the Schengen policy until, I'll have to look at that. Anyway, and then from January to May, I will buy I'll probably still go with Mondial on their world policy that does not include the US, or I'll go to Ginky. In either case, it's about €130 a month. For a world policy that doesn't include the U.S. with Ginky and Mondial, I'll just check the prices on those. And then when we're in the U.S., I actually have a USAA traveler's insurance policy that covers me in the U.S. and it's only like $75 a year. I feel comfortable having that for the short amount of times we're in the U.S., a week here, a week there, a month here. I think if I were in the U.S. for a longer amount of time, I would probably look at something a little bit more comprehensive than a USAA travel. I think it's called USAA Travel Insured. And that actually, I'm not even looking to see how much that covers me in Central America too. The bottom line is my insurance next year, I'd say if we budget $1,000 for my insurance next year, I'll be well covered.
Yeah. So again, we know people that have, that are paying $1,000 a month for their health insurance. So the fact that, that we're paying much less, whatever, figure it out, calculate it, and then build in a little, again, contingency fund if something, happens to change. Like, I don't know what the Medicare policies are going to be like starting in January.
Yeah.
So the one that I have now, I may not be able to keep that policy next year. So things could happen. So make sure that you build in a little bit extra into the budget. And then the other things that are in, like our health and wellness, we talked about things like, massages and things like that, but also like dental cleanings
we get our
dental
teeth,
appointments.
Yeah, we get them cleaned twice a year. We're going to get them done in October again with our dentist on Poros, Greece, and then we'll probably get them done in Costa Rica probably. So that's $50 a piece. So that's $200 a year for our teeth cleanings.
Exactly. And people go crazy over their, their health, their dental costs and their dental insurance. And, it makes them nuts. We're just pay out of pocket and found the places all over the world, very highly qualified dental practices and dentists.
I do know I have a cavity that I need to get filled, and that will cost me $35 in Poros to get my cavity filled.
$35. I don't
Euro,
think
35
that's...
euro, sorry.
Oh,
$40.
euro! That's not in the budget. I'm sorry. You have to...
So I think with 66, and then we've got bills and utilities. That's really just cell phone and
Yeah. Again,
and mail service.
you know what your
And-
you know what your cell phone costs you. If you want some really affordable, amazing options, we use a combination of Tello, FlexiRoam,
Google Voice.
Google Voice.
And then when we're on cruises, we do Gig Sky.
Gig Sky.
And we've only got, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and go into the description, and I'll put a couple of links here if you want to get some great deals on cell phone coverage.
But I think, so I use about 100 gig a year, I would think, probably maybe less than that, of actually cell phone data. I mean, I'm on Wi-Fi all the
Right.
time, but my actual cell phone is about 100 gig. And on FlexiRoam, depending on the sale, I can probably get 100 gig, 250 gig packages for probably 150 for the year.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And again, this is another one of those things, you know, if you're not tracking how much you're spending on your cell phone and how much you're spending specifically on data and how much you're using that, you know, you're going to have a tendency to spend more than what you really should.
Yeah.
So, for example,
do you really need an unlimited package?
Exactly. You've got an unlimited plan, but you're only average on, you know, using 5 gig a month. If you don't know that you're only using 5 gig a month, but you're paying for 15 or 20 gig a month,
Yeah.
you know, get yourself a more affordable
So,
plan.
you know, I think $66,000 is going to go a long way this year.
We're going to have to figure out other things to do, like maybe that moon trip.
Yeah.
Because I think we really just talked about a budget. Again, I'm just like, you know, of maybe $54,000 in the next year.
Based on what we just,
said, and
yeah.
our 5 years of experience.
maybe we'll do that. Maybe that flight to Africa or from Africa will be a business class flight. Ooh.
When are we going to Africa?
No, from Africa to Honduras.
Oh, I found a great flight for $350.
Does it have an engine?
You have to pedal. There's a lot of pedaling involved, but yeah, I have trouble spending more money than I need to spend. If I'm just going from point A to point B, it's a travel day. It's going to be a 6-hour, 8-hour, 12-hour travel day.
Yeah, travel
Then
day
it's
is a travel
done,
day.
and
is a
you're
travel
there,
day.
and you're in your location, and whether you spend $1,000 for the flight or you spend $300 for the flight, you know, like
You don't get there faster.
The first row and the 19th row get there at the same time.
Actually, the 19th row gets there before the first row.
Does it?
Because when the plane lands, the 19 is closer to the wheels than the first row.
No, it's the closest to the front door that makes the difference.
I think it's the first one to touch the ground.
Anyways, we don't drink, we don't.
We don't smoke. What do we do?
So it's like, oh, but I get all these great cocktails, and I could get a turkey dinner and whatever.
Yeah.
On the flight, and I get to lie flat for 6 hours versus
And I get
watch
a
movie for 6 hours.
a mask. Well, I've already got a mask, and I don't need a little small thing or whatever, because I probably already have a little small thing or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
But
I
yeah,
mean, but on the other hand, don't underestimate the value of a good night of sleep. I mean, we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, so this was not the video that I intended. I intended to do like heavy numbers. Like, let me give you, statistics and the Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem.
And let me give you charts and graphs.
And if you want that video, write that down below. If you want the big chart-heavy, numbers-driven, pie charts and cells and formulas and all that, if you want that, put it down below. And Steve, man, King Spreadsheet here would love to do that video for you. But I think this has been a fun. If you like this video, give us some feedback. Was it too wordy? Did you enjoy getting a bird's eye view on our conversation? Was it really irrelevant? Do you want more of this? Give us some comments. Ask us questions about the video and the decisions that we're making. We'd love to hear from you. And we love you. So we will see you next week, maybe with the video that you tell us what the next video should be. And we'll see you next week. Talk to you soon.